I'm here with my dad. We're going to ask him some questions. Are there any colors that are very difficult to print on or unable to print on with discharge or water-based ink?
Yeah, water-based, you can pretty much do whatever you want. It won't necessarily come out opaque. Discharge, like royal blue, typically Kelly green, and purple. Red sometimes gives us a problem. Really depends, but those ones usually are the worst ones.
Why is there an order minimum?
There's an order minimum because nobody likes wasting time, us included. It takes the exact same amount of time to set up for 1,000 shirts as it does for 20 shirts.
How did Ella get the award?
In Screen Printing Award.
Yeah.
It's a new award that started a few years ago, and you have to be nominated for it. So when we were at the trade show in Long Beach, I went up to a friend of ours, Ryan Moore, and asked him what are the steps to do it, because I was clueless, surprise, surprise, and he kind of took it on, and he nominated her himself, and it's kind of downhill from there. You need to have some background, you need to know what you're doing, because if they ask you some questions, you need to know, but it's as simple as being nominated and having people back you up. So I'd encourage any females in the industry to go out there and get your name out that way.
Hardest garment to print on. What is the hardest garment to print on?
It's a loaded question. Hardest garment to print discharge on would be something with a high polyester count. In my opinion, the hardest garment to print on would probably be that Bella sponge fleece, because that stuff moves all over the place.
What is the most impressive print you guys have done?
We did a real fun one last week for Young Gravy, where it's just all like decked out like an old Cash Money tour poster. That one was pretty fun. There's like 8 colors, and yeah, there's a lot going on in that one. That one's it's really gratifying to see all those colors come together and make something you didn't think was going to happen.
Why are you appointment only?
We're appointment only because we are extremely focused on what we're doing here. Everybody's got a job to do at some point in time. Our customer service person works remotely, typically. She gets a lot more done that way. That way we don't have a showroom here. And to be totally honest, we don't want to answer questions about printing 6 shirts in person. It just takes everybody's time up, and you don't want to drive here for that. Not being rude, just trying to forecast ahead, save everybody time.
Why don't you answer the phone?
Follows right up with the last question. Nobody likes wasting time. If you're calling a visually intensive industry like ours, and you want to talk about your artwork, that's strike one. That we need to see the artwork so we're all on the same page. Really, if you can't use email, you can't email us your artwork, you can't pay online, and you can't be notified when your order's done. So we're really just trying to set the bar for how things are going to go for the rest of the order. There's not much that needs to be done on the phone, especially when we're dealing with artwork. The amount of times that things can get messed up when you're not actually visually confirming things, it just didn't make sense.
Favorite tee to print on?
It's got to be the Bella 3001, just because of how consistent they are. Again, we specialize in discharge here. That thing is so consistent. We don't see problems with it. We know what we're getting into. There's definitely other shirts that people like. If they're redyes, if they used a different factory for something, the dye could be all off and discharge just won't work the same way, and your red will turn cream or your cream will turn green, something like that. We, for probably 8 years, haven't seen a problem with the Bella ones. They're just so consistent.
Why don't you print on customer supplied garments?
Because it's a nightmare. You wouldn't go into McDonald's with your own hamburger bun and ask them to make you a burger, would you? You don't know what's in the shirt. You don't know where it's been. Has it been washed? There's too many things. If it's a shirt that we can't get to replace it, if something goes wrong. And a lot of time people think that they're saving money by doing that. Yeah, you might be saving money on the blank, but then your print prices are going to go up. In the end, it's when we have control from beginning to finish of the stuff coming in to stuff going out. That's how we can make sure everything's consistent. We try to remove as many variables as we can. So us providing the shirts and us knowing what they are, like we were talking about with the Bella ones, we know where they're coming from. They're not seconds. They're not rejects. We know all of these things. If you're bringing us some shirts from Walgreens, that's real cute. But those are rejects. Those are probably redyes or something like that. And that's going to screw us up along the way, and it's going to mess up your shirt in the end. What smells better when applying, emulsion or reclaimer? Whew. It's an interesting. This is like one of our suppliers sent this to. I think like. I'm assuming. Give us a plug. Give us a plug. Well, joke's on them. Neither one really smells. I guess I would say reclaimer because you don't smell it. We have a machine that reclaims screens, so you don't really smell that. We have a machine that puts on the emulsion, but I guess after you coat like 30 or 40 screens, you can smell it in there. Yep, I'm going with reclaimer because it doesn't smell. Final answer.
All right. Well, that's it, folks. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. It's been wonderful.
Wonderful.
It's been wonderful.
Shout out to Young Gravy. I wanted the same wild game he did once.
Like Max has it.
Hey, Max.
All right, is Burger King even around anymore? I don't know. Oh,
Burger King's around. But there's some questions of a hat that you guys put, that we asked you guys questions with on Instagram, and yeah, the first question.
You covered it all.
Yep.
Give them all the information.
I forgot how to say it. You know.